and what I'm going to say is very shocking. I'm sorry to say this, and I will start this way, right? Unfortunately, black people are collectively inadequate, all right? And black men haven't recovered. No, let me say this because it goes somewhere. Black men haven't recovered from being conquered by white men. So what happens is, we don't have a sufficient industry that black people can go to. That means we have to go to.
I disagree.
Well,
if you go to Nollywood.
Nollywood.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well,
go and learn from them.
Yeah.
Make yourself famous,
right.
And then be known over here, just like the Afrobeats have done.
Here's what it is: if you're based in the UK or America or Canada, I recommend we should go to Nigeria. But actually, we go to where you live. There's infrastructure to support you. So telling actors to go and learn Yoruba or go to Nigeria, wherever it is,
You don't have to. No, hold on, because English is the national language for Nigeria. That's so you don't need to have a dialect.
Yeah, but I'm saying that wherever you're based, you should like, because Europeans, when they go to Spain, Kenya, they self-introduce you to make sure that, well, they sometimes used to take everything usually, but they make sure that they can sustain.
Yeah, but there's plenty
life.
of Nigerians that would be willing to actually, and rich as well, making a lot of money off it to get a foothold in England.
So let me agree with you and say, actually, that's why we need separation. We need to have the Nigerians here, the Caribbeans here, the Americans, the Nigerians over there, actually have a code of conduct where we value that concept. So that way we don't have to go to Europeans and Netflix and do shows about whatever it's about. We can actually just create our own shows. So that's what we're trying. But we have to do it in isolation, because if other people groups are there, they're going to interject their agendas as they always do. So even when you're saying,
yeah, but I know I agree with what you're saying there.
It's very shocking. My Baptist, very shocking, very shocking. What it is you were giving examples that you're now seeing more black people on TV. This is fantastic, right? But I'm saying, because Europeans are controlling it, what they might give you, and this is the shocking part, they might give you a wealth of a black man with a white woman on the McDonald's advert, so the Boots adverts, and it's like that's very nice, I guess, but that isn't like a representation of a black family.
Yeah, but I think
the ratio doesn't match that.
I agree with you on that, but I think that's more down to tick all the boxes,
no,
right?
I understand.
Right, the DEI boxes, so they need to have a white
DEI. What's that?
Diversity,
equity, inclusion.
Yeah, okay. Right. So basically, what they're going to do is they're going to say, right, we need one white actor, we need one brown actor, one black actor.
Gay,
so what we'll do is we'll have a mixed race family, covers the brown guy, covers the right. But the thing is, every single outlet is doing it.
Yes.
So now, what's happened is there's black people sitting there going, well, where's the black family? Yeah. And there's white people sitting there going, well, where's the white family? Yeah. Right? And then there's interracial couples that are less than 2% of this country, by the way.
Yes.
People don't even realise that,
right? Do you not think they're overrepresented?
Yes, and I think at the same time it gives the false impression that we're taking over.
Yeah, that all the swirlers are taking over, and no one's sticking with their own. Do you not think that's being pushed a bit?
There's semi-truth there, as in like it's not going to be as much as they're showing, but in the black community, especially Caribbean communities, we do see a height in black men picking.
Yeah, that's true.
White
the
women,
Caribbean,
right?
Why would you say that is?
Well,
would you agree with that?
I do agree with that.
And well, the shocking thing is because black men haven't recovered from being conquered by white men, but to streamline it, it's because we haven't got a kind of like cultural sense of pride or any kind of infrastructure in place where being with a black woman and building and having generational wealth is valued. So what is it? It's a me versus a we scenario. So unfortunately, there might be, obviously people will love people who they want to love, whatever, right? But there's also going to be the angle where someone is with someone for a house. Someone's with someone because of how it makes them feel. Someone's with someone because they don't like how they look.
There's plenty of black women and black men that are with women for money.
Well,
but staying within their own colour.
But the thing is,
that's just ridiculous. To say that people marry white women for money or white men for money, yeah, you get it, but that happens right across the board.
Yeah, so the area of interest.
I mean, we see it. Come on.
Oh yeah, Europeans going to Thailand, this kind of stuff. I know. But what I'm saying is,
Europeans going to Thailand. That's just another stereotype, and that is disgusting.
I've been there. But what I'm saying is, as Europeans...
No, I know they go, but I'm saying that that's not the majority of people, is it?
No, but we're giving an example of the what you
that's just
mentioned.
a racial trope.
Well, that's something you have to work on. But what I would say...
it's like you have to work
Well, no,
on.
I don't go to Thailand to find...
You're the one who inherently thinks it.
No, I'm promoting black love, so I'm not going to go to Thailand to find a wife or whatever it is, right? That's the issue between white men and white women, why they're going to Thailand to find a wife.
Well, I don't think they're going there
to get the Thai bride.
Yeah, but that's not a black woman, is it?
No, yes, that's your, I can't speak on that issue. You have to tell me. I can't tell you. Right, but what I would say is...
Would you consider a Thai woman a black woman?
No, I'm black.
Thank you.
I'm saying that's a white issue. It's got nothing to do with black people. We're not going to Thailand to find Thai wives.
And I think that's where, I don't want to change the subject, is where you can say that, that's your issue. We can't speak on that. But there's a lot of outside of black people ready to speak on our issues.
Of course. Yes.
Just like with the gang, you saying, you don't think it's right because blah, blah, blah. There's white people. But the white children is for you lot to, just like you said with the, rightly so, you're saying, why don't we do our own, movies and do our own thing, like promote that. But then with the gang thing, is you're saying, because I listen to contradictions, you're saying, like, what about the white children? But then that's for the white people to, because you best know how to navigate that. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. And then the black families will know how to navigate because they will know their issues. So it's like...
The reason why is because, when it comes to going into the movie industry or those particular industries, right, I can see the benefit for black betterment or black people actually wanting their own staff and to move up and actually to cause less friction with people with the resistance from the white community. But when it comes to actual something that's societal, that we're all suffering, especially if you're at the bottom of the ladder to do with the class system, then we need to assist each other. So all this stuff is not just so easily black and white.
I was going to say, do you think it's easy for, because you said it as well, Jedi, we need to, do you think it's easy for black people to just, we're going to set up this and we're going to push? Because I'm just saying, as soon as any little whisper, like Noah Clark, who was doing a lot for the black community, it easily gets shut down. It does easily get shut down. It easily gets scrutinized.
Not in 2025.
I just think that
you've given an example of Noah Clark, right? And I hear what you're saying, but Noah Clark is like, there's like 1 degree of separation between me and him. We got a lot of mutual friends or whatever. I can't say that Noah Clark has specifically gone out there to put the black community on or to represent the black community. To be honest, if we look at his body of work, he's kind of fallen into what we've spoken about with the kidulthood, adulthood.
No,
whatever.
I agree. But I'm not talking about his work. I'm saying getting to that level to be able to have things showcast. And then now that you say that, why is it that that's the things that's being shown? He's putting that out, and that's what the country's pushing. Do you understand? Because I'm sure there's a lot of people that want to be directors and writing and all of that stuff and don't get pushed, don't get pulled to the top. It's just like the rappers. They say, if you're doing grime and everything, you're easily up there. But I know a lot of black brothers that have beautiful voices and can sing and everything. That's not pushed. You're not seeing no Jodeci's come out from the UK and all of that. That's not pushed. You're not getting to the top. I see a lot of, what's his name that lives around the corner from here? He was singing with Amy Winehouse. And there's another one that he just done a big show. I can't remember. He was on. He sang a.
You talking about that Angel guy?
No, Angel. Maybe.
But that's because
there's others that have beautiful voices. I remember the names by the end of the day. But there's other black men that have beautiful voices and everything. That's not pushed. You're not seeing them in the charts or anything. This country pushes.
Yeah, but that's because of the
violence.
bigger agenda. That's not because of racism.
I didn't say it was because of racism. I was saying how easy is it, that black people, who want to do something positive for their people get pushed to the top. It's very easy for a white person in this country to be just, I want to do this and boom, they're boof.
No, that's not true.
Do you agree with that?
No.
I think it is.
Well, I would use the term, there's more opportunity, it's easier. Right? When it comes
I disagree.
Well, I'm glad you disagree because that's why the separation we promote. But go ahead.
Okay, so in 2025, I think that if you were to go to any institution and try to promote yourself as somebody that comes from the LGBTQ or the any of the woke agendas, you're likely to get funding, because that is what is trending. That is what the government is pushing. That is what the one world order, if you want to call it that, globalism is pushing.
No, I have to agree with you on that.
And so
I do.
I would
think
say
it's,
that
I think it's moved
true.
away from what we're talking about, though. But okay.
The thing is, when you start doing the LGBT and the black and that is superseded by LGBT. So you will find a bisexual.
Yes, they
woman.
use it. They use the black community.
I think black people are the best people to use for anything, and history has shown that. And black people are used to get a foot in the
I would
door,
agree with you.
and usually white women or white men can do what they need to do. The truth is, white men and white people.
Elite men.
Yeah, but it still benefits white society as a whole. And don't get me wrong, we understand there's poor white people.
Okay, how? Tell me how it benefits the average white working class family to have black people promoted all the time, to be demoralised about their heritage, to be told that they can't be proud to be white, that they've got to take on the sins of their fathers from 200 years ago. Tell me how that benefits them then.
So that's a good question. So what it is it's understanding how you could inherit something that your forefathers did, and acknowledging it. That could be the start of true peace, as in like, because we acknowledge that our country or our place or our generational wealth has come from a history of pillaging.
They have acknowledged it, and that is why they're so tolerant.
No, this is what they say. There's a saying, I'm going to butcher the quote, but it's like, there's no peace before justice, and there's no peace and equality before justice. Meaning, Tom and Jerry are having a fight. You walk into the room. You want Tom and Jerry to stop fighting. But you can't just say, all right, look, everyone just stop, and that's it. We're going to have to look into why they're fighting and try and remedy what happened. So offer solutions to patch that. So let's say there's been historical things going on between the Europeans and the Africans, yeah? And some of those exchanges leave reverberating consequences that are playing out to today. And just to say simply, oh, let's just all wipe the slate clean and look, let's all hold hands, doesn't work for everybody. Sometimes it's going to be like, okay, you South Africans are going to have to sort out what's happened with land and blah, blah, blah. We're going to have to get into it. We're going to have to maybe find some reparations, some schemes to give everyone their rightful ownership back and blah, blah, blah. We can't just paper over it and be like, all right, we're all good now.
No,
that was in the
agree with
past.
you, but
So I
the
feel like a lot of the time,
Yeah.
when we deal with some of these historical things, we forget that there's actually massive corporations that still to this day have got a stronghold based on what they done. And I know, being brought up in England, being born in Britain, I know there's a thing called handling stolen goods. And I also know that if I know that my dad stole that gold bar, and I've still got that gold bar, and I can take out loans based on it or whatever, then I am handling stolen goods, and it needs to be addressed. It can't just be papered over. That's my opinion.
And
anyway.
a round of applause for that. I was just to say something shocking before you say your shocking stuff. It's important.
My shocking stuff.
He's just decided
this
to
is
be
shocking.
shocking.
It's very
Shocking.
important.
You're not.
I'm fine over
She's
here.
not shocked. She's
I'm
not shocked.
She's
She
just
will.
shocked.
She will.
It's
She's
very
in shock.
So it's important, and I would like to use this conversation as a case study to it, that collectively black people have no friends. And that's very important for black people to understand. Because when you understand that truth, then you realize why it's important to have black institutions. Because you will have a white paradigm of how you see things, right? And even the fact that you say woke, that already shows me the history of what's happened. Woke was a word historically used for black people to say you're aware of injustice and you're going to...
Yeah, we're not woke. We're awake. White people are awake. We're not woke.
Yeah. But what I'm
We
saying,
don't want nothing to do with that woke nonsense.
I'm glad you said it. Remember, collectively have no friends. The reason I say is because now it's been rebranded to be a LGBT inclusive black woman in a wheelchair concept that white men can demonize, or white community can demonize, like, oh, woke, that's
That
now
woke shit.
woke, right? And that's the strategy of white people, or maybe white supremacists, depending on who's doing it, being able to just marginalize and minimize something that once had a important message for black people.
So you think black people have no friends?
Collectively.
I don't agree with that. I
So-
think that's a British black person's mindset.
Well, I think...
So who would you see? Who would you see as the friends? Who would you see as the friends of black people? You can go for it. Who
Collectively.
Do black people have friends?
I don't think we're even nice to each other for us to be talking about if we have friends. And I don't think we have friends.
Thank you, sister. This is 10
Well, I don't think we have friends. I think we're horrible to each other. And the thing is, like, so like, not to go off the subject.
You can.
Like, Jedi, but I put my stuff out there, yeah, to explain that, you get me, like, we can do bad, but we can do badness to each other, but understand we're all coming from some sort of pain. So give each other grace. You know what I'm talking about, innit? When I put my story out there of me and my partner and all that stuff, we're still together.
Give them an example.
So basically, I am in a relationship with my partner. We have 4 kids together, 3 sort of thing. I've gone through, you know, I've gone through life and I explained to you, I had a rough childhood where I went into care and stuff. And
You got 4 or 3?
I've got 5, but with him,
Yeah.
3 biological, but he doesn't like me saying that. He takes all of them full.
Okay.
Yeah, because he was with me from when she was a baby.
Yes.
Okay.
I've put it out there. I've explained, you know, the things he did to me in us getting together. You know, little things, not little, it's little things compared to some of the stuff that does go on. The infidelity, the cheating, the lies, all of this stuff, and, you know, the breaking up and the
On
getting
both
back.
sides. You both done
No,
it.
no, he did it. I'm
You
not about
cheated.
that life.
Go ahead.
No, I didn't cheat with him, no. You're talking about when I was in my 20s, about 21 years
The
old.
holiday cheating.
Yeah, 21 years old. I'm 40 years old now. Let's get this
We
straight.
say that move past that.
Let's get this straight. Yeah.
That cheating was in the past.
And it
So
wasn't
you
cheating
put
like
that all out for everybody?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
put it all out, and I
Spoke
was
about
saying, and then I did another podcast, and I was saying the reason why, because we did split up. People think, oh, I stayed through all everything. No, when I found out each time we broke up and all this stuff, and he came back and he explained stuff to me, and I saw, and you learn more about each other, if you understand, because no matter with how long you're with somebody, it's up to them to let you know about them. So I'm explaining to people, yeah, that I'm sympathetic, because now I understand him. Like, I only understand me. I understand what hurts me. Now I understand what hurts him. I understand where his background comes from. I understand what makes sense in his head. So to do that, to keep families together, and black families, you need to stop having such dash the man away, the man's an idiot, you know, you're a yaman, and all of this kind of talk where we're just separating our black families and talking about, oh, this is why we should go over there, no offense, and this is why we should go over there. Kind of understand each other, because we've all come from hard places. I've come from a hard place, so I can understand another person that's come from a hard place. We might not have the same mind
How
frame,
many
and your
times have you
hardness, multiple.
Oh my God.
Multiple. Not that I found out about multiple.
So
I found
you
out.
think it's beneficial to hold a marriage together with multiple cheating?
No, I don't think it's beneficial to hold a marriage together with multiple cheating. I think it's beneficial to understand your partner and help them through it when you find out. Does that make sense?
I understand.
Okay.
I understand. I'm just trying to give you a microphone.
And the way we got together was not conventional. Do you get what I mean? The way I went about
You
it.
was with child and leaving an old relationship. Was it that type of thing?
No, it wasn't. It was. I tried something different. I tried a dating site.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
So that was for me.
We
that's
thought
not,
she was meant something
Oh
scandalous.
no, but for me, that's. Do you understand? That might be normal for. That wasn't normal for me. So I tried something different. Do you get what I mean? I ignored little things and heard little things where he was talking about he's working all the time. He was, and he's talking about mortgages. So different things that I ignored that I have to take accountability for. He has to take accountability for his own crap, because I was at a podcast the other day and I really loved what Raspek said. He said you can't tell somebody else to take accountability. They have to take accountability for their own stuff. Everyone talking about, oh, you should take accountability. That shouldn't be happening. I can only take accountability for my part in my place, my naivety and stuff like that. But as we got through, so when I was doing little things, I did little things to him, not about cheating, but you know, like money-wise, with child maintenance and stuff like that, which would rip him apart. Wouldn't rip me apart if it did to me. But that's what I'm saying. You have to understand your differences. What I will find offence in, you might not find offence in. Do you get what I mean? And vice versa. So you have to kind of understand each other. And what I got was from the black, because I don't want to go too much into it. What I got from the black community was, you're an idiot. Dash Ray the man. He's never going to change. But knowing myself, I left and he's come back and he's told me certain things. He's let me deeper in and all of this stuff, because it was 3 times mainly. It was 3 times. And and when I say multiple, as I found out about multiple women
Has he
within
changed?
those, 100% change. And I'm not going to put out his business. I can put out mine to explain how he's changed, like physically, emotionally, getting help, all of this stuff. Literally, even his family's like, okay, do you get what I mean? And he's even saying, like, I can't believe I behaved like that. Now, what I want everybody to understand, I could have left him. And the next man I get with, who's not the father of my children, and again, and all that stuff, could have done worse, because I've been in worse situations, do you understand? And then, do you understand?
I respect that.
And do you get what I mean? And then he's going to do something, and you're not trying to help. You're not trying to help each other.
Rather applause to the
do you
sister.
get what I mean?